Hi, so I'm back once again, Jackie Dighans with the Dripping with Abundance show. And I was recently, this past weekend or so, on our bus. Okay, so we were actually um, moving some mattresses that had been brought into the house for various reasons out of our upstairs, which is unfinished. Okay. And we were putting them back on the bus. It needed three mattresses back on there and, doing whatever with the other ones, getting rid of them or whatever. And we had not been on this bus for probably at least a year, if not longer. And we haven't taken it out for like a few years, probably close to 5 years, maybe. It feels like that's too long ago. But um, anyway, I had the opportunity to get back on and it brought back some memories. And so I want to share um, about this bus and some of our experiences on it as a family and traveling on it. And um, it was just an amazing season and is still an amazing bus. I'm just not sure if it's something that we're going to be traveling in anymore, or maybe we'll rent it out, Airbnb type thing or something. So anyway, but we had 8 kids, okay, and we had a 12 passenger van. They're the same as a 15 passenger basically, but they just have one less seat. So there's more space in the back to put your luggage and stuff, which is amazing. So we had this 12 passenger van and we were desiring to go places and to have something that when we pulled up at a friend's house or family member's house out of town, that we could stay on it. At least some of us could, because having 10 people, and then in the end, we had 10 kids, so two more than we had at that point. Um, just being able to keep some of our stuff on the bus or, in a camper type thing was helpful. And so we had the opportunity to receive this bus. And it came from our church that we were attending at the time. They had had it, it hadn't been run for a while. They didn't know if it would run. But they basically were giving it to us because we had to then take it in and find out what was wrong with it and if we were willing to have it fixed, if the price for fixing it was worth it to us. So, anyway, so we were thankful for this opportunity to get this bus, and we ended up having it fixed. It must have been worth it. I can't even remember exactly how much we spent on it, but we did have it fixed so that we could enjoy it. And after we got it going, the motor running, and all the things like that, then we needed to convert it. And so my husband and sons, went to work converting this bus from 50 to 60 some seats to 10 bunks, two tables, a cabinet area with a nice countertop on it. We put an apartment fridge in it. The tables we had the same as the countertops, so they were all made for that section. We actually turned around the seats so that there would be four seats facing the table. So two facing the one way and then the two facing the other way. Side by side, the tables were on this bus and it had the alleyway down the middle. We just laid a strip of carpet down there. And yeah, we traveled in it. It was really cool because the way it laid out, the very back of the bus were two shorter bunks. So we put a foam pad on each of those, a top one and a bottom one for the smaller kids. We had a place for a playpen. And later on, my husband thought we could put a shower or something there, which we have not done at this point. But we went to converting this bus, and we took a trial trip in it to South Dakota. And I remember that the trip went smoothly. There was one point where there was a like a buzzing or some type of an alarm going off at one point. And we were like, what is this? Why, what's happening? What's wrong? Why is this going off? And it ended up being one of the windows in the back of the bus was kicked open. Okay. So the emergency alarm was going off, and it wasn't like kicked open to where it was somebody was falling out. It was just like shifted just a little bit. And so anyway, so we found that, got that put back, you know, and we're at the way it was supposed to. And one other thing I want to say that we did on the bus is we got some of that shading material that you can't see in, but you can see out, kind of. And we had an American flag around the front top window because that would get really hot if the sun was beating in down on the driver and in the bus. And then the windows on each side, the bigger windows in the back of the bus, where everyone would be. The first three we had shades on. The rest of them we just put curtains on the inside. And so those were amazing, except for those of us up in the bus, we couldn't see out really well. It's that stuff that has the little tiny circles in it. And so you couldn't see really clearly out of them, which wasn't great for sightseeing and travel, if you wanted to see out at all. But it did work for privacy and also shading, because it would get really hot in there. So anyway, so that was one thing that happened. So the window got shifted and kicked out a little bit in the back, because we would let the kids, of course, lay on their bunks and play back there a little bit when we were traveling. And I also want to say on the front part of the bus, we had left some seats in there so that you could come up and sit down, but we found that we didn't really want the normal seats in. So we bought 2 futons that would fit in those spaces on either side behind the tables. And so the front area, as you got on the bus, was 2 futons, and then the tables with 4 chairs around them, 4 seats, and you could squeeze a third person in there, if needed. And then the 10 bunks in the back. Then it went the apartment fridge and a counter with a cabinet, and then the 10 bunks, playpen area toward the back, and the bathroom. And it was working with a little tiny sink. So it was amazing. The other thing that happened on this first trip that we took to South Dakota, it was just a short trip. We just wanted to try it out before we went on our bigger trip. And my husband was driving. He hit some button, something. I think it was on the floor, if I remember right. But it set off the horn. And the horn wasn't a normal like beep, beep. It was like, it was a 2-tone horn that kept going off. I would do it for you, but I don't know how exactly to make it sound that way, but it was funny. So for a section of our trip, we were driving down the road with this horn going off, and we could not figure out for a little while how to shut it down, And So it was comical. We had to laugh about some of the adventures that way on the bus, but it was an amazing, first trip to South Dakota. And then we were preparing for our trip to the Oregon coast. So we live in eastern side of Montana. We were going to the Oregon coast via my some family that lived in Idaho, and then we were going to take the trip all the way down to the San Diego, all the way down the coastline to the San Diego um, area, and we were camping along the way and back up through Grand Canyon and Utah and Wyoming and home. So gone 18 days. So I was scheduling all of the campgrounds. It was interesting because a lot of the campgrounds I would call would say, how many are in your group? Well, we had 10. Actually, we were going to be having 11 because my father-in-law was coming along because he was an over-the-road truck driver for years. And so he could drive this truck. And but they would ask me, so how many? So at some of the places we had to buy two camping spots, even though we were all in one vehicle, one camper per se. And but they're like, sorry, only 5 or 6 are allowed in this spot. And so some of them we would have to do that. When I called to go into California, some of the campgrounds we couldn't stay at because of the um, year of our bus. And it was a 91, I believe. I think that's what it was, a 91 Setra bus. And so we couldn't stay at all of them in California because we were too old for their campground, which was interesting. And so, yeah, I just remember walking that out, deciding was going to try to make them like 6-hour days. And that way it wouldn't get so long of a trip. But 6 hours ended up being kind of long, actually, because we wanted, if we wanted to stop at all or needed to stop because of bathroom stops or whatever, it just got to be long days on the bus and then getting in at dinner time and getting to bed. So it didn't allow for a lot of extra time at some of these places, which we wouldn't have known. Like we had to start out doing it to know. And so anyway, but we had an amazing time. We got to see some family, and I want to go into a little bit more detail, not on this episode, but on another one of just how that trip went and things that we encountered and overcame. And it was an amazing God trip. And I'm thankful because God had really been working with me on just really being peaceful and joyful and staying in that state no matter what happened. And so I just really got to enjoy just amazing trip with my family, and just am thankful for that opportunity and for God for providing this bus for us, because we weren't at a point where we were wanting to spend a lot of money, even though over the years of having the bus, we probably used it for, and we still have it, but used it for probably, so 2011, I had a baby on the trip and she's 11 now. We probably used it for about 6 years. We probably took a trip in it about 6 times, or maybe a little bit more than that, because we did bring it to family and friends' houses that are a few hours away, for a weekend visit or whatever too. But anyway, it was amazing how God provided that as we were desiring to take our family on the road and get them out, and being able to go visit people and having a place to stay while we were on the road. Sometimes you don't think of that when you have a big family, all the logistics that go along with us doing anything. Like even right now, people are talking about gas prices. People are talking about how much it costs to take the family out for a dinner or whatever, but we've done it all. So as far as we have 10 kids, and so our bills are always higher. We're used to that, and so I can honestly say I don't pay attention to the gas prices, because I know that I just need to live, and God's going to supply every need. And so that's the way I live. I don't worry about, like, I have places that God wants me to go, and I know I'm going to have the money to do that. And it's all going to work out. And so that's just kind of the place that I've learned to live from. And my husband mostly lives from that place also, just like it's going to work. And so anyway, I just wanted to start on this little series in Dripping with Abundance show of our adventures on our bus with a family of 8 kids at the time. But now we have 2 more, and those couple have been on the bus, but they wouldn't remember the trip so much. So they were having fun getting on there, because they have over the years been on it, because the kids used to get on there just a little bit and play here and there, or go out and play games or something on it. So, which reminds me, I should probably open it up for them to do a little bit of that too. But we always have been like, we don't want cats on there or mice, or, if they leave a door open. So it'd be something that we'd want to monitor. But anyway, so I hope that you will enjoy just hearing our experiences on our bus, and be encouraged, because it can be such an amazing time with your family when you're willing to experience some things like that, and get out and just enjoy life that way. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and follow me, comment and like my stuff on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Rate this podcast and share it with somebody who needs it. And I'll talk to you soon.